Hi, Oxys. Helena de Monk here from the Oxygen for Leadership Summit. I am here for a short interview with Geraldine Gallacher from London. Welcome, Geraldine. So happy to have you here.
Delighted to be here.
Yeah, Geraldine, you're the managing director of the executive coaching consultancy, and you are going to be live with a masterclass on our summit in February. And your topic is coaching women to fix the system. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you came to that amazing title and what you're going to bring there?
Yes, let me just lay out why I think it's quite an important topic. I'm actually writing a book about it, so I'm really steeped in this whole thing about how we can actually help women to change the system. And if I just track back a bit and I think about the landscape of, women at the top and gender diversity, why do we have so few women at the top? I think, looking back, Sheryl Sandberg with her, very famous TED Talk and then her book, Lean In, she sort of started the conversation to make it more mainstream. And essentially what she was talking about is women need to lean in more to the system. And of course that got a bit of criticism and there was a bit of backlash about the fact, well, why would they lean into a system? Shouldn't you change the system? And so I think there's been a lot recently about how the system is built by men, for men 50 years ago. And so we have to rebuild the system. And so there's some great content out there like Iris Bonney, who's written Diversity by Design, and really talking about all the different things that are going on in terms of the organizations, in terms of systemic issues that actually get in the way of women proceeding to leadership in organizations. And so there's these two streams of thought going along side by side. One is that women, how you play the system, which is the Sheryl Sandberg lean in kind of narrative. And the other narrative is actually, why would you lean into a system that doesn't want you? And what has to happen is you need to change the system. And so my talk is going to actually be about joining the two together. So what I want to do is I want to say, yes, there's no question about it that we need men as allies to change the system, and if men predominantly are running the system, then obviously men have to be engaged. But this book is actually about, but nonetheless, women still have agency to change the system themselves. Mm-hmm. And the coaching is based on our experience of having coached well over 10,000 women now at different stages of their career. And the coaching is about how we can help women at those different stages recognize what's going on and indeed influence to change.
Awesome. So what is going to happen in your masterclass? It is live, so that means that the audience can attend you live and interact with you, participate, contribute. So what's your plan with the audience?
Well, what I would like to do is set out the different challenges at the different stages of women's careers. And then for people, because it's not just about women, it's also for men as well who are interested in this topic about improving gender diversity. And so for them to volunteer some of the challenges that they might have come across or know about, for me then to help them think through some of the coaching initiatives that you might use to try and help someone adjust to that particular challenge. And for me to, give examples of where I've seen it as well. But I mean, obviously I'm going to have an audience who will have hundreds of examples of, where they've come across challenges. And really, I think, the test is, can I come up with things to help people think about how they might take some responsibility for changing the system?
Awesome.
Because sometimes it's a really tricky one, because there's no doubt about it. When you talk about changing a system, there's a temptation to think someone else is in charge. However, what my point is, that's absolutely true. That needs to be changed at an organizational level. But equally, you as perhaps a young woman, for example, recognizing what's going on and what the landscape looks like is really important for them to understand. For example, that it's quite important to do work with individual women and to do work with women separately from men to be able to actually change the system. Because one of the issues that I've found, Helena, is that in trying to work with organisations to change the organisation, what you find is that women don't all agree on the landscape. And what I mean by that is young women coming into business now, coming out of university, they've got a greater belief in things being gender neutral. They're much more, talk about gender fluidity. And so for them to even invite them to a female-only event can feel either a bit fixed women or patronising. And so, what I want to talk about is how you position things so that you get over that, because I strongly believe that we do need to address women as a collective early on in their career to get them to understand what's going on so that they can influence what's going on in the organisation. Because actually, millennial women have, if you like, the loudest voice in many organisations, because organisations are very interested in that generation. How can we make sure that we are attracting them, retaining them, and unencumbered by families at that stage? Interestingly, they often, and they're in more numbers as well, more plentiful, there are more women at that stage in their career, more of them actually need to be brought into the conversation, made to realise that the system is not as straightforward ahead as they might believe it is, and to get them, engage them in influencing.
Awesome. So this is an open invitation to join us for future leaders and leaders of all genders, of all generations. I think that you can bring so much experience, so much research-based information. I'm really looking forward to this session. So join us. It is on February 3rd, 2020. It's 3 p.m. GMT, 4 p.m. Central European Time. If you cannot make it live, then you will be able to access the recorded version. It is available for 48 hours for people with a free ticket. It is available for 1 year for people with a VIP ticket. So I guess there's all the reasons for everybody, because as you say, it is an inclusive conversation. It is an inclusive solution probably as well. If we find that one, as I don't know if it's possible to find solutions in the short term, but it is something that is where everybody is involved. So I'm really looking forward to your findings and to participating and contributing to your session as well. Is there like one last thing that you would like to share with the audience? Why they shouldn't miss out for this?
I think diversity is one of the challenges of this decade, and managing diversity is fundamental to the success of any organisation. And I still think that if we can't solve the gender diversity issue, then how on earth can we even address any of the other groups of people that are in minorities? So I think it's really important for managers and leaders to really understand the gender landscape, because all too often I still come across managers who say, but Geraldine, I believe in a meritocracy. And actually when I hear that, I know that means they haven't really understood that we're not actually in a meritocracy at the moment. Because otherwise, if we were, why would we have the kind of statistics that we've got on boards, which is not representative of the world?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this. So join us. The information to register for your free ticket is here below. It's the oxygenforleadershipsummit.com. We're really looking forward to meeting you there, and you can join the participation because there's a chat box, there's interactivity. Even if you do not want actively to participate in the live session, you can observe and contribute via the chat box. So just be there. Thank you so much, Geraldine. It was really great to have you here, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in February.
Yes, thank you.
Bye. See you next time. Bye.